Hi, good afternoon everybody. It's Lee here from Revitalise, Connecting People, and welcome to Revitalise ReConnect, where I get the opportunity to meet with business owners and key influencers from the Scottish Business Network. And I've got the great pleasure this afternoon to be at the Prince and Princess of Wales Hospice based in Glasgow to be with one of the signature speakers that's going to be presenting at the next Revitalise business event. Known this gentleman for a couple of years now and got to know exactly what he does in the world of anxiety. And I would like to welcome this afternoon the one and only Kevin Mullin from Serenity by Kevin. How are you doing, Kevin?
Living the dream, man. How are you?
I'm doing very well.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's an absolute pleasure. It's great to meet you this afternoon down here.
Oh, what else are we going to do on a nice sunny day like this?
It's gorgeous outside, nice blue skies.
Oh, innit?
Happy days. Living the dream. Love that.
Not raining.
Not raining at all. Well, I'm really pleased that you're going to be doing a signature speaker spotlight for us. And that'll be at the next event in March the 25th. But I wanted to take this chance to really get a bit more about you and where you've been and a bit more of an insight of what you've provided for many connections. So what makes Serenity by Kevin really in a way of coaching and therapy different to others that are out there?
I think society's changed, of course. Everything changes, everything progresses, everything gets bigger and better and bolder. And one of the things that didn't do that and didn't keep in a line with movement was therapy. So a few years ago, when I went through a rough patch and I looked at getting therapy, I kind of looked at what they were offering and what they were doing. And it just seemed really, really long, really monotonous. And one of the big things was you had to relive everything. You had to go back into the past and talk about all these things that hurt you and made you where you were and triggered your anxiety or your depression or your stress. And before you know it, you're at that point again. And surely the philosophy and the aim of therapy is to make you better. So when I decided that you didn't need to get worse to get better, you didn't need to go back to go forward, you didn't need to go down to go up, I decided to create this model, and we call it the HIT model. And that's high intensity therapy. And we base that over only 4 sessions. And what we do is we don't do talking, essentially. Of course, we're going to do a little bit of talking. We need to know where you are in life and the emotional balance or the problem that you have. But from that point onwards, it's really down to us, because what we're going to do is we're going to go in at what we call a subconscious level. There's 2 parts to your mind. You've got the conscious mind, which allows you to think. So anything that you think about, that's the part you're using. And then you've got the subconscious mind. What people fail to realise, actually, is the subconscious mind is around 90% of your mind. So all your automations, all your behaviours, your emotions, your patterns, your habits, they're all pre-installed now, like programs, because anything you do once, twice, 3 times with your cognitive thinking mind, the subconscious just kind of stores it and automates it. So to change someone really dramatically, to change a limiting belief, to change an emotion, to change somebody, instead of talking to them and saying, you can do this, let's go, and trying to empower them that way, is it not just easier to get them just to relax, focus on something, and go straight to the subconscious and take that limitation away? And that's what makes us different. We work at a subconscious level, and we don't believe in going back to go forward. And we've managed to get it down to 4 sessions in 2 weeks, equating to a whole new you. And that's what you'll see in the media and on the BBC and the Daily Record and the Sun and all the articles that are going on about it. Everybody seems to be going a bit crazy about this HIT therapy at the moment. So must be doing something right, but we are different.
You are doing something right, because you're having that effect and cause, and you're making people have that opportunity to reflect on themselves and act upon it, most importantly, and just get it done.
Definitely all about the actions and less about the words. People are tired, I'll be honest with you, people are tired of being lied to, people are tired of being strung along. So telling somebody, if you come to me and we'll put you into a 3-month, 6-month program, and at the end you'll feel a bit better about yourself. I don't want anybody to feel a bit better about themselves. I want that. I want instant. I want up. I want shoulders back, head up. I want to look straight ahead. And I want them to go and take what they want, because the only limitation you have in life is your mind. And when we unplug it and unleash it and we make it limitless, everything is possible. It's possible in a heartbeat, not in 3 months' time. And that really was at the core fundamental value of why I created HIT therapy.
Superb, Kevin. Thanks very much. And one of the other ones, is it just anxiety that you deal with, or is it a wider scope?
Predominantly, we are an anxiety specialist, but when you look at anxiety, people mistake it and they kind of blame anxiety for everything. But anxiety, stress, depression, confidence, self-belief. These are all feelings. You feel something. So anything that's feeling based, we can get to with that base model. Anxiety is probably the most famous and prominent one. So in this generation, it made sense to target that generational thing where we hit the word anxiety and everyone relates to it straight away. But we see a lot of clients. I see a lot of business clients, business owners for a thing called imposter syndrome actually, and a lot of lack of self-belief. They don't believe they deserve to be there, or they don't believe they're going in the right direction. And again, when we unshackle that mind, their companies just go through the roof. It's pretty impressive.
Because I think it's sort of, I think it takes sort of like the layers of the onion. What you're doing is you're uncovering every little area for them. And I think it's an untapped area in regards to confidence with business owners.
What is confidence?
It's a good question, isn't it?
It's a perfect question, because you'll tell me confidence is where I think or where I feel, when I'll say stop. You're going back to that whole I think, I whole feel thing. So what is it going to be like when you don't get to think and you just feel? When you feel brave, when you feel bold, when you feel like you can take on the world. Yeah. What's it going to be like with that? And then I would ask you the question, what is confidence? Because confidence, believe it or not, is nothing more than a perception. Do I look confident today? I don't know. Do you? Well, pretty much so. But do the viewers at home, do the people watching this video, do they see your heart rate? Do they see what's happening in your stomach? Do they see the swirling inside your chest, the nervousness, the excitement? Do they see any of that? No, they don't see that. They see Lee sitting there with his shoulders back, with his head up, talking nice, clear and calm. They don't see what's in there. What just so happens we actually get to make what's in there the same as what's out there. We marry up the body and the emotion in perfect synchronicity.
And that is so powerful.
Yeah,
well and truly, when you combine the two together. Thank you, Kevin. So you've also traveled the world. You've had various different experiences. Your brand of leadership and motivation that I see, because I've seen recently you've been speaking in New York, Dubai, you've traveled. Does management and leadership go hand in hand with you?
The general perception, of course, is that when you become a manager or a good leader, and leadership and management are interlinked and they come hand in hand. And truth be told, and some people may not like that, is that couldn't be further from the truth. Because management is a label and a title that you're awarded through a position. Leadership is something that you earn, something that you learn, and something you deliver each and every single day. Becoming a good leader doesn't equate just because you've been awarded the title of service manager or production manager or team leader or whatever it is. Even the name team leader, again, you know, people genuinely get these titles and go, right, well, we're going to do it this way, and it's my way or the highway, and I've got this position of authority, and we're going to do it this way, and that's not how effective leadership works. When I teach leadership and motivation and management to different organisations, especially my audience in New York, absolutely eat this up each and every single day. We work off an improvise, adapt and overcome policy. So it's IAO, improvise, adapt and overcome, because an effective leader in truth should have those three core values like embezzled on him to the very, very core. Because no matter what comes, no matter what happens, no matter what given situation, he can improvise, adapt, overcome and get the best out of him, his team, and it actually just makes the productivity, the whole unit, whatever organisation it is, go through the roof. I think we have increased productivity in SEO services in New York last year by 45% in the first quarter. It was absolutely bizarre what we were getting these guys and girls to do. They were coming in early, they were working through lunch, they were working late, they were giving their all, because it's much more than just a wage. Inspiring your people, inspiring your colleagues, the people that you work with, to work for you, not to work for our salary, it is a big, big difference. So no, the short answer, I guess, is management and leadership definitely do not go hand in hand.
I think there's a lot of things I've been looking at recently, and it's like working together as a team, the team ethos. Do you know what I mean? Lead as you mean to be on within the team, lead within your team itself. Again, it's something that you've just tapped into nicely there as well.
Again, you know, you must, as a leader, as an effective leader, now you need to remember at the age of 15 I will get put into the junior leader school at the British Army, so I know leadership and I know leadership. I don't just know it, I understand it and I apply it. And some leaders genuinely believe that it's a case of do as I do, not as I say. And the biggest thing I would say to anyone that's listening and you're in a leadership role or you're motivating or you're directing staff in any way, shape or form is please lead from the front. Do never ask anyone to do anything that you're not prepared to do, and get your hands dirty and show them that you're with them every step of the way, because that goes a long, long way to earning respect and trust. And with respect and trust, just with those two things, your workforce will multiply exponentially, just with those two things given to them. And that's definitely a improvise, adapt and overcome policy that I teach when I do leadership training with my companies and organisations that I work for.
Superb. Thanks, Kevin. So the methods that you've got, I mean, curious to me is that, so where did these methods and knowledge and everything be created from? Where did it begin for you?
Here's a really cool thing. Me, you, everybody, you're all born perfect, apart from two small flaws. The fear of loud noises and the fear of falling. Therefore, everything else that you've got in your repertoire now, everything you are now, you've been taught, shown and given. And that really is essential with me, because at the age of 15 and a half, I joined the British Army and I get sent to the junior leadership school for I think it was 16 months or something, because I was under the age of 18. So for 16 months, the British Army drilled me on leadership. And then I hit my regiment, and then I became, a rifleman, and we were called thinking riflemen. So there was a big ethos in the army at the time that private soldiers are private soldiers. They don't need to think, they just do what they're told. Well, the regiment I joined, the Royal Green Jackets actually employ an ethos of the thinking rifleman. So we were taught leadership again, so for my whole military service, it was all leadership. And not only were we taught it, we employed it in Bosnia and Kosovo and Iraq and Northern Ireland and whatever it is we were going, we led from the front and our troops followed with us. And when you understand leadership and motivation and interlink them like we do, it's really powerful, and you could actually get your team to, absolutely run through walls for you if you do it right. But you have to show that you're there with them, you have to be with them, and you have to give it your all. It's not a case of, just lead because that's what I do and do as I say, and you work to 8 o'clock but I'm away at 4 o'clock. It's not going to work like that. It doesn't work like that now, it didn't work like that in the past, and unfortunately it won't work like that in the future.
I think it comes down, you've touched on that, and I agree completely 100% with everything of that, but it's also that you've actually have this certain empathy.
Yeah.
You remember me saying it? It's like have an empathy, an understanding. You can type into the psyche, you can understand how somebody is, but really to get to find out the real person.
There's a massive difference in life, in any subject, any field that you go into, there's a massive difference between knowledge and understanding. One of the things that makes this so effective is I've got the same knowledge and the shiny certificates that everyone else has got in that field, but what I've got is I've got the understanding unparalleled to any of them. Not one of them will come close, because I lived in a society, I lived in an environment for nearly 20 years where you had to lead from the front, and we do the courses, we do the leadership schools, 7 months at the Army School of Leadership, my goodness, just to get to the next rank, and that stuff's intense. That's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week with no breaks. So that whole understanding married up with the knowledge and the appreciation of it actually makes a really good model to teach leadership and motivation to people.
Absolutely superb. Well, thank you so much for speaking to me this afternoon. It's been a pleasure, as always, getting to catch up again and keeping the conversation going. I'm really looking forward to welcoming Kevin, as I said earlier, to the Revitalise business events as a signature speaker. But if you want to find out more about Kevin, I would highly recommend that you go to Kevin's website, which is
www.serenitynlp.com.
Exactly. And me and Kevin look forward to seeing you very soon. But as always, stay tuned, and our next Revitalise ReConnects will be coming out very soon. Thanks again. Have a great week, and we look forward to seeing you all again very soon. Bye-bye for now.
Goodbye.